Hello, my name is Scott Ford. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Westrock Coffee Company. It's a pleasure to be with you here at the Trade with Africa Business Summit, and I'd like to thank Toyin for inviting me to appear, even if it's through video this year. Westrock Coffee Company is comprised of Westrock Coffee Roasting in the United States, S&D Coffee and Tea in the United States, Falcon Coffees in the United Kingdom, and of course Rwanda Trading Company in Rwanda, which was the beginning business of the entire enterprise that we started in 2009. As one of the largest employers in Rwanda today, and one of the largest, I guess, private investors in Rwanda, it has been our thrill to see that economy boom in the last 10 years or so. What we've tried to do at Rwanda Trading Company was establish an export business that paid as much as it could to the local farmer while still making enough of a profit to stay in business. And that, with a low C price, has been difficult the last few years, but we've been able to do it largely because we've invested in agronomy training programs for the farmers at the ground level. The agronomy training program, or ATP as we call it, goes through how do you manage not only your crop, but how do you manage your finances, and how do you invest in your community so the generation behind you can benefit from your labor. It's the hallmark of the business of Westrock Coffee, if you will. It's the heart and soul of why we do what we do. Everything else was to create a platform to pull volume from those kinds of supply chains up from the farmers at origin. We're now in 21 different countries around the world as an origin operator, and I guess at this point, after the purchase of S&D, we're the largest custom coffee roasting company in the United States. We have customers like Walmart and Sam's, which are always happy to be identified with us, which we appreciate, as well as our first big hotel chain was Omni Hotels. And through the S&D purchase, we now serve many, frankly, most of the largest major national restaurant chains that you've heard of, at least in some part of the country, where we're starting to provide service on a broader basis, frankly, even next year. As a long-term investor in Rwanda, and frankly, we have offices in Ethiopia and Uganda, and we have been in Tanzania in the past, I'm frequently asked, what advice would you give to political leaders in that part of the country in terms of business development? And, I think you can appreciate this. I'll decline to offer advice. I do, from time to time, get asked what I think about something, and I'm glad to offer what I think about things, but I don't have any specific advice for anyone who has already a very difficult job and doesn't need Monday morning quarterback from the cheap seats over here. I'll say this, as an investor, what we've looked for is stable tax and regulatory policy. Politicians campaign and get elected and come to power through a number of means that don't have anything to do with the business, regulatory, and tax policy. But they attract capital based on how they execute that very tax and regulatory policy. And you don't even really have to have a strong position one way or the other on what that is. Is it a progressive tax system? Is it a flat tax system? Is it a VAT tax? Is it an income tax? It's really not so important what people select. That's up to the individuals in each country, but that it is stable, that it's protected in the court of law so that everyone is equal under the law, playing under the same set of rules, and everybody knows them. Where that's true, business can flourish. Where that's not true, everyone departs. That's just the nature of it. If that's helpful, I'd say eat the fruit and spit out the seeds. One of the things that came out of the work we did in Rwanda, where we started with agronomy training, was what we now call FDV, or Farmer Direct Verified. And it really is the testament of 10 years of work by a large number of people in Rwanda, in the UK, in the United States, in Colombia, in Peru, where we pulled together on an IT platform the entire chain of custody and information that goes with that custody transition, including cost put in, the margin, and the price transferred all the way along the supply chain. So we now have, and we're thrilled with this, you can see it in some of the products that we have in Sam's Club, the Farmer Direct Verified tag on the bag. You can actually scan the QR code and see the very individual farmers whose crop makes up that bag. People, when we started this project 5 years ago, to trace every single bean all the way through to the finished retail product, people told us it couldn't be done. People told us it was impossible. The thought leaders in the industry, the coffee industry, told us it was impossible. But we knew it wasn't. If you can trace a bit all the way through a telecom network, you can trace a bean all the way through a coffee supply network. So we were thrilled this last year when Sam's Club rolled out Farmer Direct Verified on one of their core items, and people can see the entire custody link all the way back down to the farmer, including her name, and what Sam's can see is not only her name and who participated, but the quantity she brought in, the quality she brought in, and the price she was paid that day for the coffee that's in that bag. I think 5 years from now, there won't be a major brand in the world who doesn't insist on that fully traceable, IT chain traceable type of product in their offering. But we spent 10 years trying to build it, and we are thrilled. Many millions of dollars later, we are thrilled that that is now available, and the incremental cost of each transaction is relatively close to zero, which allows us to pass the value all the way back to the farmer and the transparency all the way up to the retail customer. So I'd like to thank you again for your time today. It's been a pleasure to get to introduce you to some of you introduced again, you to Westrock Coffee Company. It's always great to be part of this great trade group and the effort that's going into building trade between the U.S. and Africa. I am a huge bull on the continent of Africa, and in East Africa, where I've got a little bit more background, in particular, just because of where I've spent my time, what I see going on there and how capitalism and free market trading is really getting its roots established, I think this generation and the generation to come after it will reap the benefit of that in untold multitudes. Good luck to you all.